Hello. So today I wanted to talk about a few books that I got recently that are on like my top to read in the nearest future. So first I wanted to go over the books I rented from the library that I'm pretty excited about. So the first one is the newest release from Elena Armas. So I've read both of her books in the Spanish Love Deception duology, maybe. I think this is a completely different story. It still centers around Latin characters and it's a contemporary romance and or fiction. Not quite sure, but I am pretty excited about this one. I did enjoy her first two novels. I never read The Spanish Love Deception once it was picked up, and I believe there's a lot that was trimmed from it. So I read the original release and it was independently published, but I really enjoyed her second release. So I think this will go kind of along the same vein of like just really trimmed down and kind of compulsively readable. Next, I also got The Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. I actually don't know anything about this series in particular, but I kind of have just heard it talked about as like he's one of the leading fantasy writers. So I thought it was about time I picked it up. And this is just one that I've heard from a couple of people that I watch that my tastes really align with them. So I'm going into it very blind, but pretty hopeful. Okay, next and most importantly, this is just a dust jacket because my friend borrowed it this morning. I read it in like 48 hours, probably less, but it is Iron Flame, which is the second book to Fourth Wing. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than the first one. I feel like it leaned more into the fantasy plot, and even though there still was a romance and somewhat of a love triangle, I feel like the romance definitely became like a subplot, a very bottom B plot, and fantasy kind of took the A plot in book two, which I really appreciated, and I wound up liking it even more, which is a testament because I really enjoyed Fourth Wing. Next, I picked up Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a continuation of the Kingdom of the Wicked series, but it has moved into the adult section. I'm assuming because there's going to be sex scenes in this one, because it really did border on that last series, and I'm thinking that is the only difference in between these series, which absolutely fine. So I am excited to get this one. I am a little bit interested to see where it's going to go. I'm assuming it is going to be following the other of the brothers, where we followed Wrath in the first one. So we'll see. I think this one is about envy, but it is blurbed by Armand Trout and, you know, all of that. So I feel like it's going to be something I'll enjoy. Next, for the winter season, I picked up The Witch of Sar. This is one, it's a Baba Yaga retelling, I think. I'm pretty excited for like snowfall and that kind of season to happen. So I am going to save this for a little bit later on in the year, more around December. But again, this one I don't know too much about. The cover was calling to me, and I know I did read the back of this one. I just can't quite remember what it's about, but I do prefer to go into stories blind. So I'm just looking for a sort of winter aesthetic in this. Next, this is a bit of an outlier, but I felt I had to, for my 12-year-old self, talk about this. But I also got Christopher Paolini's Murtaugh, which is a continuation of the Inheritance Cycle or the Aragon series that we all knew and loved when we were younger. I truly don't know how this is gonna go. I read A Sea of Stars, which is Christopher Paolini's adult debut of the book one of the Fractalverse, and it truly wasn't for me. I don't know if I'll even continue that series. I probably won't buy anymore, but that is specifically because it's sci-fi. I didn't find the writing too bad. It was weirdly paced, as in it dragged on a little bit, but the story itself is good. The writing style was good. So I'm interested to see, going back into his teen series, what this is going to be like. I feel like I remember book 1 and 2 so much, and then I truly don't remember anything. But I also, even though I have all the books on my shelf, I cannot bring it in me to reread them, because in my head, I love the series so much. But I do know that if I were to go back and read it at this point, it would not be good. I just don't think not it wouldn't be good, but I think my nostalgia in my head is making it better than like what the writing would actually be, because I've read so much fantasy since then and developed my own taste, etc. It's kind of like going back and watching Lizzie McGuire. There's some stuff that like, oh, it's still great, it's still iconic, but there's some stuff that like maybe doesn't age the best or isn't quite to your taste anymore. So looking ahead into the series, I think I will enjoy this, but we'll see. This is also $40. And I'm just telling anyone who isn't asking, this is $40 for a teen book. I'm a 30-year-old woman and I don't want to pay $40 for a teen hardcover book. I mean, I got it on discount, but discounted, I think it was $30, which is just crazy for a teen book. Wild. But last but not least, I got A Fire in the Flesh by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I did not know this book was out. It was a pleasant surprise when I was at the bookstore. I just saw it on the shelf. And honestly, I have all the books in the series. I think there's 7 or 8 thus far, with the like prequel Castiel's version that just came out. And all the names and covers kind of blend together. They're all so similar. The covers are so similar. So even when I saw this on the shelf, I did like a double take. And I was with my boyfriend. I went, do I have that one? He doesn't know. But I asked him. And then I asked the lady at the front how new it was. And she couldn't even remember if this was like the Castiel prequel, if this was like what it was. So I just bought it because I didn't want to read the back, because I'm a stickler if I'm reading a series. Like I just want to go into it blind after book 1. So luckily I got it home and I don't own it, and I'm very excited to read it. I think I read 20 pages before Iron Flame came out, and I just diverted all my attention to that instead. But I plan to pick this up this weekend, and I'm very excited about it. And I have higher hopes because I rated my first Armentrout a little bit lower with the last one. I think I rated it a 2.5 or a 3, and that was just because, that was boldly because I just love the series. I will willfully say it's probably less than a 3, but that, I don't have it in me to give it that. So I rated it a 3, and I'm hoping that this one is at least a true 3 or above. This is the Niktos A Fire in Flesh series, so it's following many eons before Poppy and Castiel's story. So I have high hopes for this. I think it'll be fine. If it's not, I'll probably continue to read the series, but at some point maybe switch over to ebooks, because I also thought the next in the series for a Blood and Ash series was going to be the last, and apparently there's 2 more now. And you know, I only have so much shelf space, so I have to start getting a little more stern with what comes into my house. But that being said, this is one highly anticipated, probably going to read it or start reading it as soon as I stop filming this video. So that is it for me. Those are just some recent things that I picked up that are like, have come up to the top of what I want to read. But my hope is that I read those like 7-ish before the newest Divine Rivals comes out. I also have on my radar to read the newest Percy Jackson, because I absolutely loved that series when it came out, and I was gifted the second Percy Jackson series that I have not read. I've only read like the original like Lightning Thief and those so long ago, and then I had a friend a year or 2 ago gift me the box set of the newest Percy Jackson, and now there is an additional, I think it's him going to college or something, but it looks really cute. So I want to reread that maybe during my Christmas break, something like that. I feel like I could read those pretty quickly. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.